Yo, what's good, Knicks Nation? What's happening? This is a tough one, man. There's a lot of things going on in today's game that we gotta cover, but let's start with the first things first. All right. Welcome to KFTV Post Game Live. I'm your host, Alex Terrace. With me on the other side is my guy, I hate Shaun. So let's break this thing down. New York Knicks come into tonight facing the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers are in town. And look, Knicks were hot on a 5-game winning streak. And the Los Angeles Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis, so you thought this would be a night where we could steamroll the Lakers and extend this thing to 6. However, the Lakers had other plans in mind. LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and then Dorian Finney-Smith out of nowhere all decided to pull out their Splash Brothers cards and throw them out on the table as they were knocking down 3 after 3 after 3. The New York Knicks would try their best in the second half when they were down the entire time to come back and win this thing, but it was difficult after losing OG Anunoby to what Knicks PR, if you want to take it for their word, that he has a strained foot. All right. So we'll see. Well, a sprained foot. We'll see. A sprained foot is what they said. But the New York Knicks were unable to galvanize enough energy to take down the Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron and the crew just rolled away with this one, winning 128-112. The Knicks lost with the 112-128. We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it all on the show. Make sure to call in through the Discord. Make sure to download the app. Go on the web browser, whatever fits your fancy. I want to hear your takes. I want to hear how you all feel tonight after this game. Are you all in panic mode? Because I see some of y'all on Twitter all in panic mode. Or you're just taking this thing in stride where it's, look, it's just one game. It is what it is, man. You caught a team that was hot. Let's go. Let's keep it moving, all right? So make sure that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let's get into this. My guy, I hate Shaun, is with me. Yo, I am blessed to have my guy on the other side. Let's go. Shaun, what's happening, bro? How are you feeling today? How are you feeling after today's game?
What's going on, man? I mean, one, I'm honored to be here. Appreciate you guys having me. Can't say enough about the show. Can't say enough about the platform. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you,
Our
Alex.
pleasure, man. It's our pleasure to
And
have you here.
yeah, unfortunately, tough loss. I was really excited about coming on the show, so I was hoping to come on here and be yelling and saying, 6 of them things and talking about the win streak, and I had it all in my head. And I think at some point, like with like 3 or 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, while the crowd was chanting "We want Bronny," I was like, "Oh, it's not about to happen like that." And so it's unfortunate, but it's one game. I feel like we've been playing so well recently that they've afforded, a loss just because we want to win every game. And I had this whole plan of 6 in a row and all this stuff. Doesn't mean that's how basketball goes. Yes, they were missing AD. You expect to win that game. But ultimately, I mean, it's a tough night for Jalen, an awful night for Jalen, honestly. Tough night for Cat. And those guys both play so well on a nightly basis that, like, I don't expect that to be a thing that continues. The Lakers schemed very well, and they executed their scheme, and we just missed shots. We missed, a lot in that fourth quarter, third quarter. We had a lot of shots just around the basket, typical little floaters, layups that just didn't stay down. At one point, it was a 5-point game. Dude's got a fast break, 3-on-1. He goes, takes it himself, misses the layup. They could have cut it to 3. They go down the other end, getting and 1. It's an 8-point game. They hit a 3. It's an 11-point game. And so just like little things like that, like where they, like Alex said, we were kind of chasing that entire time in the fourth quarter trying to come back, and they just kind of kept us at bay a little bit. And then they were able to put us away, unfortunately. So it's a tough loss. You never want to lose these games. You want to be able to take everyone, and you want to be able to keep the win streak rolling. But I don't think that it's much of an indicator of like us as a team. Also, definitely a huge energy shift and loss when OG went down. That was strange, and then we were really worried because it was non-contact. So I think there's a bunch of different factors and variables. So this is one of 82, and you move on. New streak starts on Monday. New win streak starts on Monday. So.
Absolutely well put, Shaun. Like I'm not stressed about this game. Some game you can't win every single game. The one thing I'm going to take away from this is that our 3-point defense just continues to be lackluster, man. We're dead last when it comes to just allowing teams to put up shots, and when they're drilling them, it just sucks because it's just a spiraling effect once teams are knocking down threes. And look, tonight Lakers hit 19 out of 40, so they shot essentially 48% from downtown. That should never happen, man. You should never allow a team to shoot 48%. I mean, 48, we're talking about essentially not too far from 50. The fact that they're even that close to shooting 50% from downtown, that makes me sick to my stomach. We got to figure out something to stop teams, because once teams are knocking threes, then you just see the rest of the defense just like, what do we do, guys? Like we're just lost. So guys are just able to attack. You see guys just attacking out in transition, being able to work the half court and just get downhill, find their mid-range spots as well. And so 3-point defense just has to improve. It's just a constant story for this team, man. I'm getting sick of it just because it's not just this season we've seen them have bad 3-point defense. We've seen it for many years. The difference is like we've had the defenses, like the defensive consistency on a night-to-night basis where we can overcome that. Now it's that if our offense isn't there or if it's not the juggernaut that we're expecting it to be, and then other teams are just knocking down threes, a game like tonight, and even though the energy shifted once you lose OG, it's like we're still didn't have enough to keep up and to just, punch back and really land like the momentum shifter, that final blow to say, all right, this is our game for the taking. So 3-point shooting, man, they got to go back to the drawing board and figure that out. And we could talk about everybody closing out. You can go to Karl-Anthony Towns just not closing out well. A lot of guys weren't closing out well. We left way too many guys wide open. I mean, we even had miscommunications on threes. You even see, I think it was in the first or second quarter, we were like, you see Brunson, I think, talking to McBride, like, yo, like, whoa, we got a guy over here wide open in the right corner. Like, what's happening, man? And so it's one of those things where it's just frustrating. The 3-point defense has just got to be better, man. I mean, according to Queen of the Glass, when it comes to accuracy, we are dead last. We can't be having none of that, Shaun. We can't be having none of that.
Yeah, I feel like our defensive scheme, because like you said, it's been over the years, and largely it's like we're kind of daring you to shoot it, and we're playing the numbers game. But like the numbers game hurts you when the team shoots 48%. So you like that number's gonna kill you. And so we gave a lot of easy opportunities. We stuck to that drop coverage way too severely, and we weren't able to close out and get out to shooters. And then basically, basketball is very much mental, So it's like in the beginning of the game, you let teams get open shots, get open looks. They start seeing shots go down. Everybody's hitting shots. Now, even when you switch that coverage eventually and finally, they're already hot. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith was 5 for 6 from three. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like right now, if we go back out to the court and put nobody out there and roll the ball to Dorian Finney-Smith and tell him to take 6 threes, he's not gonna hit 5. But you let people get confident, you let people get into a rhythm, and all of a sudden you got the Dorian Finney-Smith of the world hitting 5 or 6. You leave the player talking about Gabe Vincent wide open in the corner. Gabe Vincent does nothing else. That's what he's out here to do. You can't leave him wide open in the corner, but you give these guys these opportunities. You get guys hot, and you start they start feeling it. And that's what we ran into tonight. And on a night where we're not shooting well, it's even twice as bad to be giving up as many 3-pointers. I think that's our problem a lot of times. It's like the teams start burying us with the three. I think we shot. What did we shoot tonight from three? Tonight we shot boom, 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 boom. My apologies. 10 for 28. So it's like we didn't even shoot 33s. We didn't even attempt enough, honestly. If you shoot under 33s, you're probably gonna lose the game. So that's something. We need to shoot more. And the Lakers, it's funny, I think on the broadcast they said the Lakers are 28th in the league in 3-point attempts, 19th in percentage. But it was very clear tonight. They got 43s up. JJ's a smart guy. LeBron is a smart guy. They know exactly what you're going to get against the Tibbs defense. They know what's going to be available. They know it's going to be open. And they spam that. They spam the actions to get those top of the key looks, knowing that we were going to be in drop coverage. And it was target practice from there. And you can't let teams have target practice because, practice makes perfect.
That's a fact. Practice makes perfect. And this is the thing, though, and this is like, you talk about it being a numbers game, Shaun, and what bothers me is that, like, we can't play that game against good teams that can actually knock down the three, right? We saw, like, and I hate to have to go back to game one against the Boston Celtics because they aren't even playing the same way that they were the opening season, but it's teams like that, even the Cavs, like teams that can even knock down the three. Look, we played the OKC Thunder. They're not known for their being a great 3-point shooting team. They just like to get into the paint, but against us, they were knocking down threes. And so I just hate this game of like, we're going to like, I hate that gamble of like, dare them to shoot it because this is the NBA, man. Like guys can shoot threes. And it's like, it's not like they all like suck. You know what I mean? So it's just got to change. It's just got to change. But let's talk about the thing that I know everybody's worried about. And Daniel, I sent you the tweet from Ian Begley. Was the OG? What was it? I think it was in the second quarter. We saw it in the second quarter where it was a kick pass to OG on the left wing, and he gets the ball and he just, he takes a sidestep and then just drops down to like one knee. He doesn't. Tibbs calls a timeout. You see LeBron, Cat over there, like Cat's talking to him, holding him, seeing what's going on, just chatting with him. And then OG walks off, goes into the locker room, and we were waiting, obviously anxiously, for what the news was. Energy completely shifted from the Knicks because now you're just worried about one of your top guys on that team. Like we're such a top heavy team that if you lose any of these guys, like the championship aspirations that we have, like it just makes you that more weary of like, can we do it? Especially when you're losing your best defender, like your most versatile defender on this team, right? We paid him 212 million for a reason, and so when you think that you're about to lose him, like the energy shifts completely. And so the fact that Nick's PR said that he strained his foot or sprained his foot, whatever the term is, and that now you have Ian Begley reporting saying that Tom Thibodeau said OG Anunoby's X-rays were negative on the right foot sprain. He said he doesn't know if Anunoby will get an MRI, and I'm sure that he will get an MRI. I would expect him to do their due diligence just to see what's going on there, so that way he doesn't get hurt even more, and that way you can actually give a proper diagnosis as how to treat and help him recover, so that way he can be available for the rest of the season and be here where it most, which is the postseason. So, Shaun, what are your thoughts on OG's injury right now?
My thoughts on OG's injury right now are thank God. I'm not gonna lie, and that's why I can't even be too upset about this loss. It's a win for me knowing that OG's Anunoby season isn't over. I heard you say earlier, that if you trust Nick's PR, and I don't necessarily trust Nick's PR when it comes to injuries. They don't necessarily tell us what's going on.
They don't
but
tell us the full story, bro.
They
really
don't tell us the full story. But I would imagine, I feel like they would even shock me if they passed off an Achilles injury as a foot sprain somehow. So I feel like, because when he went down, I'm thinking, okay, non-contact. I'm like, I don't know, it looks like an Achilles. I'm not a doctor. I know absolutely nothing. But I'm like, on my untrained eye, I'm just like, that's an Achilles. I hope not. So I'm already thinking, like you said, to change the way you look at the season. Not that I think it's over. I think we can still go, but it's just okay. What's the starting lineup now? And it's funny because right before that happened in the beginning of the second half, and toward the end of the first half, we closed the half with Jalen, I think Mikal or Jalen, but the three were Josh, Precious, and Cat. And I was saying this isn't a great lineup for spacing. One, because Cat is not the same floor spacer he normally is because he's not really shooting the three as much right now because of his thumb. So you're already losing something there. Josh has been shooting much better, but he's not exactly a floor spacer. They were leaving him. They were sagging off of him. And then Precious, they're acting like he's not out there. So you got two guys between Josh and Precious who are looking to cut. There was one play we swung it to Jalen, and he was looking to swing to the corner, but Precious and Josh both dove to the basket because that's what they're kind of both looking to do out there. So that lineup spacing was pretty bad. So we come out in the first half, and second half, and immediately OG goes down, and we're right back to that lineup. And I was like, damn, that's really tough. So I don't know if that's what they plan to do as a starting lineup going forward. I would hope not, honestly. I think that today they just had to deal with LeBron, so they had to have Precious out there if it wasn't going to be OG. But I don't think that the floor spacing is good enough there. I also feel like, and this is like a petty thing, and I probably shouldn't say this is a bigger platform than I normally speak to. I normally speak to like less people, so I can say kind of things that are ridiculous. But
speak your mind, bro. Speak your mind. Let's hear it.
Bro, shoot the damn ball. Like OG got hurt because he didn't shoot the ball. Like, shoot the ball. He was wide open. What were you pump faking for? He got hurt on like the relocation after the pump fake. He had just hit a three like the play before that. It got swung to him in the open court. The man was closing out late. Let it fly, and you're still playing, brother. So that's kind of annoying. But speedy recovery. Hopefully he's able to be all right. And I think what we did see tonight, really great minutes from Deuce. Deuce had 12 points, 4 for 9 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. 15 and 15 from Precious. Josh with a 26-point triple double. It's like everybody else stepped up, and that's what it's going to take when OG is out. Everybody else is going to have to step up. Hopefully Landry Shamet can hit a three because I'm tired of watching him go out there and be out there. So hopefully he can hit a three.
Getting cardio, my guy. He's just getting. You can say he's getting cardio. He is truly getting cardio.
Getting cardio. He had the game the other day with 3 threes, and I was like, okay, cool, jumper's back, but it has been rough. And yeah, he really is getting the Reggie Bullock special, man. He's out there getting cardio, killing me.
It's rough to watch with Shamet out on the court, man. It's like, and this is why, like, when it comes down to like who gets minutes and how long they get minutes for, it's like, yo, you got to produce in your minutes, and this is why it's tough when you see Shamet out there and like, look, we know we need an upgrade at the wing. He's here right now. I wonder if they bring up TJ Warren later in the season. But sticking with the topic of OG, like, I don't know what Nick's PR is. I would say that I'm encouraged he was able to walk off. I know that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have an Achilles injury, but to me, to see that he was able to walk off on his own power, he didn't really, like, I know that he stopped. Like, I feel like if you tore, like, I'm just speculating. I'm not a doctor, but it's like, I feel like if you tore your Achilles, like, there would be a little bit more of a response of like, oh, not just like, let me just get down to one knee and stuff. Maybe it's a sprain. I don't know, but I hope they, I hope, like I said, that they get him to take an MRI, figure out what it is, and then he's back during the regular season, man. I know they were just kind of, and this is the issue though with OG, and like, not him personally, but like how the Knicks have treated him. It's like, even when I go back to think about the Pacer series and they had him out in Game 7, I'm like, bro, like it's this is like mad obvious that he can't be out here. What are we doing? And so like, that is where I'm just like, what's actually happening? Can you please be honest with us and just be honest? And I want to say that they are being truthful to what they know right now, and that's all I can say. I think they're trying to be as truthful as they can right now, because what's the difference if OG is like going to miss the season right now or not? Like, you're not trading him. He's on the team. I guess the only thing you could say that it would impact is if they wanted to make a trade and do something just to like make a run. But at the end of the day, why would they want to put themselves into a cap situation, which doesn't really benefit them and the roster that they currently have? So I don't see why they would want to do that right now. I would guess that they would try to be as honest as possible in this situation to what they could figure out. And I'm just going to take it that it's a foot sprain, because I think if it was worse, it would be worse. And I'm also going to go off of the fact that like we've seen Jalen, like, looks like he's had some serious injuries too. Like, he's given us some scares, and like he walks back out on the court, I'm like, oh, like I guess you're fine. Like that's nice to see. You know,
that's the Jalen special.
That is true. Yo, I know you're a Jet. I know you're a Jets fan. And so, do you remember that time with Brandon Marshall? And this is what I'm going to, where it looks like Brandon Marshall tore his ACL, goes into the locker room, comes right back out, jogging out, and like then he just catches a TD and goes off. And I'm like that. This has got to be like up there with like Paul Pierce needing to go to the bathroom and be like, "Oh no, what's going on?"
That is so. He was like being carried out.
That's why I'm like, just even think about that. That's why I'm like, yo, injuries can be like, they're so weird, man. And so like, I just gotta wait. And that's the thing, is like, this is probably the most nerve-wracking part, is like waiting until we actually know what is happening with OG, man. That's
yeah. It was definitely a relief. Like, we started celebrating when we saw the foot sprain thing. I've never been so happy to see that somebody sprain their foot, because I was thinking it was wraps for his season. I'm not gonna lie. And I try not to let like negative thoughts enter my mind until I have to, but it was just like, I don't know. But you know, New York Knicks PR. I mean, last year, OG was day to day for like 2 months. Like, when he first hurt the elbow, he was day to day, and I was like, yo, it's been 3 weeks. What do you mean he's day to day? What's going on? So, you know, we'll never know. So we're back to the whole hoping that, you know, he gets cleared. Hopefully we get him and Mitch back at the same time. Whatever. Going to we have the All-Star break coming up, thankfully. So it's like, you know, that buys us some time. So if we can make it to the All-Star break, you know, win a few games on the way there, play well, sustain ourselves. Hopefully other people step up, carve out a role for themselves, whatever. Go to the All-Star break, let him get that extra recovery time, and then hopefully he can come out from the break healthy and hit the ground running. Same with Mitch. Like, that would be really nice to get them both back at the same time.
Absolutely. It would be great to get them back at the same time. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for another KFTV post-game live. With me on the other side is my guy, I Hate Shaun. Make sure to give him a follow on Twitter and all socials if you haven't. All right, he does a great job covering the Knicks. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Okay. Also, we're about to take some calls right now. Make sure to sign in through Discord. Line up. LD, I see you in the members lounge. Go to the regular lounge, my guys. For some reason, it's not allowing me to pull members from the members lounge. So make sure to just go to the regular lounge. I'll pull you in. I do want to hear your call. And I don't know where TM is yet. I know he was on vacation. He's supposed to be returning soon. TM, you've been gone for a month, bro. Where are you at? Anyway, let's get to some calls. All right, guys, let's get to some calls. Sayquizzy on the line. Sayquizzy, what's happening, man? Unmute your mic.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Sayquizzy?
First thing first, CP, if you're listening, if we make it to the finals, no more watch parties.
Oof. Come on, man.
No more watch parties.
The watch
I know
party
it was a
went
good cause
pretty
today.
great.
But I'm just saying, just for the finals, no more watch parties.
Oh man, today was
But
for a good cause, bro. Come on, today was
yeah, that's
for
what
a
I'm
good
saying.
cause.
Today is fine, but I'm saying when we make it to the finals, just watch it through the TV.
Woof.
But I felt like today we beat ourselves. Like so many open threes we gave up. Finney Smith probably hit 3 threes in the second quarter, and it was like from the same play with Cat in the paint, running out to him. Like today, it felt like we had a back to back. Like Hart was really the only one you could say Precious, maybe Deuce, because he's off the bench, really gave us something. Like Brunson had a bad game, it happens, but Cat, this is his second bad game. With the Nuggets, he had a bad game. And today was no Anthony Davis. So I'm like, this should be a little like get back game after Jokic game. You had a little rough start. So, but there's no Davis and you're struggling. So it worries me. Like, is his thumb really bothering him? Because there's no Davis.
Yeah, and that's like, you want to see Cat tonight take it to a Lakers team that didn't have AD. I totally understand that, and it just sucks when you don't see that happen. Like who, like they had who would they have out there playing center? They had Jackson Hayes for a little bit, and then they had Jared Vanderbilt both playing the 5, and it's like Cat should have been able to take them to town, man. No pun intended, but like. It just sucks when you don't see it, and I want to say that the Lakers just did a good job, like just flustering both him and Brunson. Like defensively, they made sure to get them in positions where they were just out of sorts, like they couldn't defend well, whether it be Cat on LeBron or whoever, right? And even getting Brunson on the Reeves at times, it's just like they worked offensively to get them, and then defensively, they did everything to like double, triple to make sure that they put pressure on him. But I also want to put blame a little bit on Tibbs. Like blame goes on the players, a little bit goes on Tibbs as well. Like in that first half, when I'm seeing Cat doing some combo dribble moves, I'm like, bro, that is like stop. That is not you. That's not what we're asking you to do, man. That is not like it's impressive at 7 feet tall that you can do that. But we have not seen you do that at all during the regular season now. And really, like the way that he operates is that he just makes quick decisions, and he just passes the rock, takes a dribble here and there. He's very efficient with his movement, his shooting, and that was just wasting time. And I want to put that blame on Tibbs because, Tibbs, and I'm going to reference like the Jeff Teague podcast. Teague always says like, hey, Tibbs lets you go out there, kind of like run, like make you feel comfortable. You do what you do. But like coaches in certain moments, like you got to be like watching the game unfold and say, you know what? That's not what I want you to do. That's not working. How do we create mismatches? And we saw that all night for JJ Redick. Like, how many times did we see like OG on LeBron, and then LeBron would bring the ball up? They bring a screen, and they constantly switch to get OG off LeBron to give LeBron like some runway to do whatever he wants to do. And so I need Tibbs to start doing a little bit of that, man, from an offensive perspective. Like this offense can be great, but it's just like on nights like this, it's like we got to call things out earlier and get guys in a groove, especially your 2 all-stars.
Yeah, I'm glad OG's fine because when I seen him go down, I'm like, oh. Nobody touched him. I'm like, is this the end? And then they said it was a little spring. Hopefully they ain't lying because last time he hurt his elbow, bro came back in screaming every time he shot the ball. I'm like, bro. I'm like, why are you screaming? I'm getting scared. But hopefully, I say just rest him until the All-Star game is done. Don't even bring him back because we got like 5 games left. Let him rest. We play Rockets left. I think we play Rockets next.
Yeah, we got Rockets.
Hopefully Cat could wake up because last time we played Shamgoon, he killed us. So, but that's all I really got to say today.
Appreciate you, Sayquizzy, for calling in as always, my man. Appreciate you. Yeah, hopefully, they're ready for Monday, man, against a tough Rockets team that beat you earlier this season. We'll see what happens. What'd you think about the switching of like Cat and like Cat's offense, and Brunson's offense? What did you think in general, Shaun?
I think that I feel like it's tough for me to speak on too much, only because I feel like the Lakers did a really good job. And I don't know how much of, like, yes, we're supposed to make adjustments for sure, but the Lakers did a good job. And then we just missed some easy looks. The play you're talking about was hilarious, though. When he did a little tween, step back in the corner, I was like, I don't really like this. But also, while the ball was in the air, I was like, I might love this.
So like, hold on, like if it would have dropped, I'd have been happy as hell. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of crazy. I might have to see that again. It didn't look too bad. But you're right. The quick decisions, but they just did a really good job of like, they kind of did this thing. You're a football fan too, so it's almost like you spend all game and you show blitz, but you don't necessarily blitz. You just make the quarterback feel like there's pressure. And so I feel like all night they made it feel like there was a double team coming, even though we didn't really get to reap the benefits of them fully committing to a double team because they just showed the help without having the help be out of position. And so I feel like, even though Cat had the advantage for sure, it's like they did a good job of having a guy that was supposed to keep him away from the basket, sort of, and try to front him and bother him, and then having a guy, in position to be the help defense. I think Rui got a block on, I believe it was a Josh Hart drive or maybe a Jalen Brunson drive. They got a really nice block, and it's like, they had the defender there in the first place, and then Rui was in position because of where he was supposed to be doubling from to send that help. So actually, it might have been a Cat layup. But yeah, I just think that their scheme was really good and it was really well executed, and we happened to not shoot well on top of that. And the same thing I said earlier with the Lakers, in terms of, guys hit a couple shots early, it's going to be a good night for them. There's going to be you struggle early. The looks are tough. The coverages are different. And, you're already Brunson was more frustrated this game than I've seen him in a long time. Like he was visibly, saying the F word. He was clapping his hand. I don't really see him do a whole lot of that over the course of games. He was frustrated out there. And so when you're in those frustrations, the rest of the game becomes tougher. So, I'm not too upset. I'm not going to kill Tibbs for it. I just think it's one of those, I can probably count on one hand for sure, without using all my fingers, how many times Brunson and Cat have both had a bad game in the same game. So it's not something I'm really worried too much about going forward. But, however, when somebody schemes well against you, it becomes, the copycat factor if that's what everybody's going to try to do now. So I need to see us adjust to this now. I don't want to see this same kind of scheme beat us. Okay, fool me one time, shame on us, but shame on them. But from here, I want to see us be able to respond to that. I want to be prepared for that. Now we've seen that it worked. It worked on national television, so people are going to do it. We're going to see that again. We need to look more prepared for it next time we see it.
Absolutely, man. Definitely got to look more prepared for it. And talk about being prepared. Let's go to one of our sponsors tonight. Hold on, people. Let me go get some products I got on the side. Give me a second. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. As we all know, this show, one of our sponsors, is Manscaped. So, everyone out there, don't matter who you are, support our sponsor, Manscaped, okay? Look, you got to keep the clean beard. You got the hedge trimmer, all right? If you want to keep your beard looking right, all right? If you want to get the close shave, underneath after you shave, you got the handyman over here, all right? The handyman's a great thing. You got the Chairman Pro that could do it all, all right? You can use the Chairman Pro that could do it all, or you can get, if you want to take care of it beneath the belt, you can go get the Lawnmower 5.0, okay? All these things are great products. They can help you keep you, looking clean, looking fresh. If you got to go on that date, you want to be smelling good. They also got ball deodorant for you. They got shampoo, conditioner. They got all the things, man. Even if you want some underwear, they got underwear for you, man, So you go out on a date, you want to look fresh, you got some options, man. CP always like to say, if you want to rock the Van Gundy, you can go rock the Van Gundy. All right, you want to go rock the Michael Jordan, you could go rock the Michael Jordan. Hey, if you want to rock the Jericho Sims with the fro, you can go do that too, man. I don't want to judge what you all want to be doing out there, but hey, go support our sponsor, Manscaped, okay? Make sure you use that promo code KFTV to get up to 20% off and free shipping. Once again, that is KFTV as the promo code, gets you up to 20% off and free shipping. Shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped, all right? They got a lot of products, man. Got a lot of product. All right. Let's get to another call, man. We got LD on the line. LD, unmute the mic, my guy. How you feeling today?
Alex, good evening.
Good evening, LD. How you doing today?
I'm great, Alex. How's your day?
Could be better, man. I wanted to see the Knicks defeat the Lakers,
So did I. I was watching the Knicks while watching the Royal Rumble. It was
nice.
Whatever. Right. But I got a question for you, though.
Sure.
How did you feel when you saw what happened to OG? Before you saw the news, how did you feel watching OG?
I was frustrated, man. Frustrated just because his injury history is just at this point, we've been blessed that he even made it up to what 50 games at this point, 49, 50 games, and then it's like, wow, he's played every single game, played a lot of minutes, you know, up and down. Obviously, you know, he's had his struggles, but you know, starting off up to the Nuggets game, drop you the 40 points. After that, man was looking a little bit of a shell of himself. Get 3-day rest, looking great again. Then tonight, you're like, damn, really? This is the play? It's not, you know, like we've seen him fall off a dunk and stuff of that nature. I'm like, is this going to be the play? But then like get the sigh of relief, you know, to see the news. But you know, we'll see what happens.
Do we have a sigh of relief?
I'm going to take it as a sigh of relief right now with a sprained foot. I'm going to take that right now until things unfold even more. I can't be stressing about things I don't know about, man.
I respect that. I respect that. Now here's the follow-up question, right? Because you know, Alex, LD, and CP's history is minutes police talk, right? So now here's why I asked that question, right?
All
because
right.
when I saw it, obviously I got frustrated. But the first thing I immediately thought was, okay, that could be this season and next. Because an Achilles, if it was Achilles, it's the rest of the season and the next. No question about it.
Yes.
And the reason I bring that up is because we all know out of the five starters with the most minutes played, 4 of them are Knicks. We all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know everybody's been talking about the minutes. Fine. You don't drive 170 miles per hour on city streets because you know it will most likely lead to an accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing applies here. Them playing these many minutes does not guarantee injuries. It just most likely would lead to injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really consider what the cost of an injury is to the Knicks, especially with our starters, something like what happened to OG today, knock on wood, it's not going to be an Achilles. But if it was an Achilles, or if it is an Achilles, that's not just this season. That's next season too. And that's why when commentators are talking like, yo, Tibbs, we're not telling you how to do your job. But if we're looking at statistics, you gotta slow down, boss. I mean, non-contact is typically something to do with something,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the reason why we bring it up. It's not because we're trying to, dunk on the dude, but it just cost us so much more to lose one of these dudes. Especially somebody like OG who's taking 40 mil a year.
Yeah.
Imagine not having him for the rest of this season and next. It's chaos.
No, for sure. And look, I don't disagree with that. Look, and it's like it's a double-edged sword that we talk about, right? It's like I recognize that one, we would like to see these guys not go out there and play 40 minutes on a night-to-night basis. I can recognize that. I also look at the bench of like who's replacing him, and like Precious wasn't doing well. Now he's playing better, so maybe you could say, all right, Precious could take some of that workload from OG because he plays the 4. But it's like earlier on in the season, like, did we really have a 4 that can go out there and do what he does? And he was so important. But to your point, no, for sure. Like if he goes out there and you talk about it's actually an Achilles, it's not. You can't even just think it's just this season and next season. It's also probably he's not going to be right until the season after that, right? So now you lose 2-3 seasons. You're going to your 3rd season. I totally understand that. Trust me, I do.
And then
but
we
I
can't
also
have this revolving door of like, okay, let's wait for Mitch to come back. Oh, somebody's out now. Oh, it's just like you gotta. Injuries happen. AD didn't play today, but us, the Knicks, we got to focus on the Knicks. We cannot afford to lose players, especially the starters. So we actually have to be strategic with how we use these players.
So my question to you then is, what are you telling Tibbs to do outside of just saying, hey, because I feel like I understand where you're about to go. Say, hey, play these guys like 32 to like 35 minutes. Like that's what you're going to do. But is that something that you believe that's actually realistic that you could do?
Okay, so now I actually have a follow-up question to that. Do you think him moving to this 9-man rotation has anything to do with the front office steering a message?
See, I don't even know. I don't know. I feel like part of it, I see, here's the thing. Cause like, if it really was, I feel like Cam would have gotten even more minutes than he got tonight. And I think part of it's like Cam only got 6 minutes. I think part of it's like, they got him these guys for him to use, but at the same time, they're also going to let him be Tibbs. And that it's like, and we've heard the reports of like the front office being frustrated with Tibbs in the past and this stuff. I think they're just giving him full autonomy to do this. Cause I also think at the end of the day, they got to evaluate to see if he can be that guy to take him to the distance.
Right.
At the end of the day.
I mean, to answer your question, I'm not going to hold up more of your time, but I personally, this could just be my bias. Like I said last time, I think Leon has done his job, giving this man a championship roster. We can agree to disagree. I think Leon has done his job every single year he's been here to give us the best roster possible at that moment. And I believe after everything he did this offseason, he's given us a championship roster from 1 to 15 and G League. I believe that because if this roster was under Eric Spoelstra or Ty Lue or Ime Udoka, we won't be having conversations about what we don't have. We will be literally focused on championships. That's what I believe, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hold you too long. I'll holler at you, tell CP to get off that party and come argue with me, man. I'll holler.
Appreciate you for calling in as always, LD. Appreciate you for calling in as always. People, rate that call in the chat. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. Let me know what you think of LD's call, man, because LD's coming in here saying, you know what? Because I know what he's thinking about, too. He's thinking about that Derrick Rose injury lockout. Hey, D-Rose, Tibbs being Tibbs, Bruin practices then, not really Bruin practices now, playing guys a lot of minutes. What do you think, Shaun? Where are you going with on Tibbs for if we went down this rabbit hole of like OG potentially tearing his Achilles?
I don't really subscribe to the whole minutes police thing as much as others do. I think OG plays 37 minutes a game, which is high. It's like 6th in the league. But it's like, okay, what's the solution? Is it 32 minutes? Like you said, is it 32? Is it 34? And then like if it's 34, is 2 to 3 minutes less per game going to stop him from hurting? Just like OG's been getting hurt his whole career. Like I'm not going to now attribute that to Tibbs playing him a lot of minutes. It's like Mikal Bridges is out there playing a lot of minutes. He's not hurt. So it's just like, I understand caution. And I do think that Tibbs should be able to lean on the bench. There's some games where like there was a game recently. Campaign went for like 18 points in 7 minutes in the first half and then barely played in the second half. And so I think Tibbs needs to do a better job of implementing his bench when it's like useful. And I think he has started to adjust that. As far as whether that's up to the front office or not, I try to speculate too much on things where like there's no way I'm going to have an answer for it. It would just be me speculating for the sake of speculating. So I mean, whether it's Tibbs, whether it's the front office, he's been leaning into a 9-man rotation a bit more. I think when Mitch gets back, we're going to see him, being even more lenient with the bench and using it more because he's going to have more people on there that he trusts. But at the end of the day, I mean, Tom Thibodeau wants to have his best players on the floor as much as he possibly can, and that is not an ideology I don't subscribe to. So I understand the caution, I understand people's concern, but if he was going to get hurt playing 37 minutes a game, he was going to get hurt playing 34 minutes a game.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's like, and this is where like I get the perspective of why LD would bring that up, but it's like at the end of the day, like you also said it, everyone knows it. People in the chat are saying that this is a guy that gets injured every single year. Like I get that he played for Nick Nurse, who, funny enough, at the time in Toronto they called him Nick Thibodeau because he plays his stars a lot of minutes. Like that is literally the nickname. Talked to many people about it. It's like that is an accurate thing that what they called him out there, but at the end of the day, this is a guy that constantly gets injured. And like the most obscure injuries too, right? Like that's just who he is. And so for him getting injured tonight, I'm like, come on. We were all thinking the same thing before even this. Like, I just said it. Like the man made it to like 49, 50 games and like hadn't missed one. And we're all thinking like, when's it going to be the time? And it's not because we're thinking about Tibbs. It's like, when is he actually going to miss some time? Because that's just who he is at this point, right? It's how people even look at Mitchell Robinson at this point. It's like, when is he going to miss time? That's just what is in like, in the report at this point. It's like, all right, he's going to miss time at some point during the year. When is it going to happen? It's like Joel Embiid, all those other guys. And even if you want to manage minutes like, say, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy who they've always tried to get to like 32, 34 minutes every regular season, dude injured his back during the playoffs or even before then. You know what I mean? And so like, injuries happen, things happen. Like you could try your best to mitigate it as much as possible. But there's freak injuries, man. There's absolutely freak injuries that happen. I'm just going to chalk this up to like, OG's just a guy who is injury prone. And like, could we ask Tibbs to be better? Yeah, I think Tibbs, if Tibbs had a 10-man rotation he could rely on that he did in the past, he would. I just don't see that happening right now. Cause look, Campaign 6 minutes. I didn't like Campaign's minutes tonight. And we all know how this goes. It's like some nights he looks great. This guy could be, The best hype man you ever see. This man can be like Flava Flav. Be the best hype man you ever want. Other nights, you're like, yo, who is this guy on SoundCloud right now? I don't even know who he is. What is going on? Get this trash out of here. That's just how he is, man. And so, like, Tibbs got to, like, he's not going to roll with somebody if he's not producing for, like, 15 minutes. Because last thing you need is somebody being out there for 15 minutes, just, like, putting up shots or just, like, wasting time. Like, would anybody really ask for Sham to be out there for 15 to 20 minutes? Who is that helping? Who is that helping? It's like, it's 4-5 at that point. So that's why I'm like, it's tough, man. It's tough when you look at this roster. Like, there's definitely like a little bit more tweaking that needs to be done to it, but it is what it is. All right, Shaun, let's get to the next call, though. Let's get to the next call and hear what Zach has got to say. Zach, unmute your mic. What's going on, my man? Zach, going once. Going twice. Zach, are you there? Unmute your mic. All right, man.
Did Shams get hacked?
I'll go back. Wait, what? What are you saying? Shams got hacked?
Has to be.
Why? Why are you saying that? Hold on. What's going on?
The
here?
Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick.
I'm seeing... What? I'm seeing that too. That has to be a hack. There is no way. This is actually from Shamsic. Hold on. We as a family are going to look at this all together. And Daniel, I'm sharing this to you right now. Please put this up on the screen because I have no idea what is going on. What? Tell me this is a joke. There's no way in hell. Ain't no way. Shaun, your face is saying it all because I can't believe that.
I'm in awe. Like, it's funny because I saw a notification because I have Shams on notifications. And I'm like, all right, let me not look. But I saw breaking. So I was like, what could be breaking right now? And I read it said Dallas Mavericks. I was like, oh, because, earlier there was like a trade that was super small. I was like, who cares about that? That's how Luka Doncic. I was like, what the hell?
Bruh, like, what? What is going on here? What? This can't be real. There's no way that this can be real. No way. This thing is still up, though. Like, that's crazy. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, this is getting bookmarked, and we are going to come back to this.
We'll come back to that.
If this thing is still up like 30 minutes later to an hour, there's a lot of questions I have. Kid Wilmar in the chat saying, I think it's true. John Talento, shout out to you for being a franchise channel member, saying, nope, it's a joke. Jet Life saying, hell no. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what to believe anymore. But let's get back to more phone calls. STG Nick, my guy. What's going on, man? How you feeling? I know you were in the building. Let's get the stadium report. How you feeling?
Pretty good. So this is my fourth year going to Knicks Lakers and MSG in a row, and it's like definitely a spectacle in there because it's like we're one of the strongest fan bases in the league, but man, there was a sea of yellow in there. I don't know if they were Laker fans or LeBron fans, but they were in there. Loud cheers for LeBron, and I respect him. He's going to go down as, one of the greats of all time, so I respect it. And he put on a show. I mean, he was hitting one-legged threes, spinning on Josh Hart, getting to the basket with ease. But one of the biggest things that I took away from it was just like the three-point defense I did not think was good at all. I mean, like, there was a span there in that second quarter when it was like Dorian Finney-Smith getting wide open threes after wide open threes. They had Rui Hachimura getting open threes. LeBron with the driving kicks. I mean, the three-point defense killed him. And then in a game where OG goes out, like, you would have liked to see, your two other guys, Brunson and Cat, step up. And I thought Cat was going to have a huge game with no Anthony Davis in there. I was like, okay, this is a game where he's going to eat. Not at all, really. I don't know if it's, again, like the finger, but again, not. He had a three, but just didn't really look that comfortable. Josh Hart was excellent. Deuce McBride had his moments there. Campaign, we don't need that. He had some threes where it was like, we just don't need that. Precious, I thought, was solid, but hopefully OG, it's nothing too serious. Hopefully he'll be back, right after the All-Star break. I doubt he would play before the All-Star break. I'm not a doctor. I don't really know what a foot sprain is like. But again, the Knicks are very suspect, we'll say, in the past with how they record injuries and how they report them, especially with Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson a little bit. But yep, that's pretty much it there. So hopefully we bounce back. Another tough one Monday against the Rockets. So let's go.
Yeah, hopefully we bounce back against another tough one. Appreciate you calling in, STG Nick. And I'm sorry, but my face in awe is that Shams was not hacked, people. This is actually real. Shams Sharnia just retweeted saying, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN full trade. Lakers are getting Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris. Mavericks are getting Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 2029 Lakers first rounder. And the Jazz are getting Jalen Hood-Schifino, 2025 Clippers second, and a 2025 Mavericks set. What just happened? What just happened, people? Huh?
Yo, my head is spinning.
What?
Cause did Luka request a trade or something? Like, what is going on?
Bro, the man's been injured. Like, what? Yo. What? I have no idea what just happened right now. I really have no idea what's happening right now. Shaun, thank you for being part of the show because this is the craziest news.
Yo, I didn't want to interrupt, but I was like, I'm sure this is big enough news to interrupt the show.
Yeah, no, that is huge news. I don't even know what. Jeez, I guess we're going off a little bit off the rails for a second. What does this even make for the Lakers and so the Mavericks are going to rely on Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving to be that powerhouse to take them all the way, and then you put Luka with LeBron James is just insane. How did the Jazz get into this? What are the what? Danny Ainge's yo, let me get part of the chaos. Hold on 1 second. What?
The trade deadline is about to go stupid. This is nuts.
Dude, Luka for AD? Wow, they are really trying to do everything in
ESPN
possibly to help LeBron.
Too. ESPN tweeted it out too. That is crazy.
Wow.
Yo.
I really can't. People in the chat, this is where I wish. TM, where are you, man? I need you to make a poll. Who won this trade? Was it the Lakers? Was it the Mavs? Or was it the Utah Jazz? People, let me know in the chat what you think about this trade right now. I mean, this is just insane. You're going to have now LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the same team, which I feel like is now. This is a terrible trade, in my opinion, for the Dallas Mavericks. What? You just gave up. You just gave up. We have now watched two teams go. The Mavericks went to the NBA Finals. We watched the Timberwolves go to the Western Conference Finals. Both teams trade key pieces to be you know what? No, I'm not doing this anymore. We're out. Salary cap's messing this whole thing up. We out, man. We can't be doing this. We tried. We tried our best. Luka going to the Lakers. How's that even going to look with LeBron, man?
Yeah.
Because they both need the rock in their hand.
But it's also going to be some of the most high IQ basketball I've ever seen, probably. They're probably going to be on the same wavelength. I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be so strange. I don't even know what to I'm very much looking forward to now watching these games and seeing what it even looks like. AD's going to be out for a bit, but damn, y'all couldn't do this yesterday when I had Trevor Lane on the show. Come on, man. Literally had the guy that covers the Lakers on the show. You couldn't do this yesterday. This is insane. Absolutely wild. Sorry for the Knicks breakdown, people, but this is just wild NBA news. What in the world? Wow. I guess we can come back to this later during the show. We can get back on track talking about the New York Knicks. Joshua's still saying that it's fake. Man, Shams and ESPN are reporting this thing as.
Yeah, ESPN tweeted it, so I feel once that happens, because at first I was okay, Maybe even when Shaun did the second tweet, I was like, okay, the hacker could still do the second tweet, but the hacker's not gonna make ESPN tweet. So
I mean, NBA Central is now retweeting things like if NBA this is real, people. I just have no idea what just happened. How do you Lakers just win a game? And they're like, you know what, AD? No more Taco Tuesdays for you. You out. You out. Man is gone. Damn. Really? Damn. Sheesh. I mean, I know Trevor was talking about life after LeBron, but that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, he's
wow.
the face of the Lakers after LeBron now.
That is for sure. Not you, Bronny. It is now Luka Doncic. All right. Let's get back on track. Let's continue talking about the Knicks, not the Lakers and the Mavs, because that's for another time. Maybe later in the show we can just break that down. That's craziness. All right. Getting back to the Knicks. Let's get back to the call. Let's get back to another caller. Zach, let's see if we can get you back again.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now. How you doing, my man? How you feeling?
A little disappointed, obviously, being in LA. Didn't want to see the fakers, as I call them, win, but they did. They got the win, and I think that OG Anunoby injury obviously took the wind out of our sails. We looked pretty good in the beginning of the second half, and that just kind of took everything out. But, I mean, Tibbs did come out and say that the x-rays were negative, so that's a good sign. Obviously, we don't know the extent of the sprain, but, sprains could be more severe than we know. But yeah, I think that was the big issue tonight. Was it really put a damper on our evening, and obviously Cat and JB put up a little bit of a stinker, but it happens. Can't be perfect every night.
This is true. You can't be perfect every night, and they're allowed to have off nights. That's just what it is. I mean, I guess moving forward, I'll ask everybody this: how much are you buying that this game also is based on like Cat's injury to his thumb and his finger? Like, do you think that's playing? Did that impact it, or do you think it's just? I know the Lakers did a good job scheming against it, but do you think the fingers are actually impacting his game as well?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm always kind of indecisive as to whether they should have him, maybe get the surgery, be out for the 4 to 6 weeks. Going into the All-Star break, at least it gives him about 2 weeks to get there. And I mean, do we get him prepared for the playoffs? I mean, we what's the better option? That's where it's a catch-22, right?
Yeah, that's this. I mean, I think the best thing for him, honestly, surgery is always tough because, God forbid, something goes wrong during surgery. It doesn't always mean it's always going to be perfect. And I think that's the thing that you don't even want to. If you're going to miss OG for some time, the last thing you need to do is miss Cat for some time because we're really thin after. So, the starting five is it's so thin. So that's why I don't even think that's even an option for him. Like, even if that were put on the table at this point, I don't think that would be a true option just because they need him so much. But even as everyone was talking on the telecast or the broadcast tonight, it's just him getting comfortable. I don't see him getting surgery until it's over. But it's just, he just needs to get comfortable with the injury.
Yeah, the thumb.
Because no, go ahead.
It's bad. No, I was just saying it's you can see that it's bothering him. Both fingers. His ring finger on his left hand and the thumb. It's just causing him a damper.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing I'll say is that we just need him to get comfortable shooting threes with those injured fingers. That's it, because that's the biggest part of his game. It's one thing to have, and especially now with OG out, who, he's definitely gonna miss some time. If I see him coming back the next game after this, I got some serious questions for the medical staff, because this is where you got to be careful with OG and just manage his injuries. But if you're going to be missing OG for some time, who's now knocking the threes down at a good rate, that means you're going down to, Brunson, Bridges, Cat struggling. Hart's been decent from three. He shoots 37%. And so, got to respect him. But obviously, it's not the same volume as the other guys. And so now we're going back to shrinking the court almost again. So for Cat, he's just got to. Hopefully he just gets comfortable and starts knocking down threes with those injured fingers.
Yeah, and the one thing I do want to say about OG and the minutes police thing, the man sat the last 6 minutes of the second quarter. It's not like he played that entire half. And I mean, was there a tweak before that? Why did he sit the last 6 minutes of the first half? So, I mean, there's some questions that go along with it, but honestly, I don't think the minutes police need to get in on this one. This has nothing to do with that. This is just a freak accident that just occurred, and that's what happens when you play a sport. You get injured.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah, that's a fact. Appreciate you for calling in, Zach. Appreciate you for
Be
calling in as
good.
always and tuning in, man. Have a good
Thank
one.
you guys for the relief, guys. That thing was amazing. You guys are amazing. The whole California, fire relief thing, absolutely ridiculous. We appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, and anything that we can do to give back to the community, man. It's just tragic to see what's going out or what has happened out in California, man, with all the fires and just people losing their homes. It sucks, man. It just sucks, and just trying to do the best that we can to give back to the people, man. That's all we're trying to do. But appreciate your support as always, Zach. Have a good night, my man. Catch you on the
as
next
well.
one.
And
yeah, man. Look, curious to hear how the event went. I don't know if CB's going to call in tonight, but definitely want to hear how the event went. Oh, there we go. We back. There we go. We back. I was a little worried, Shaun. I can't, didn't know where you went for a second. But definitely want to hear how the event went tonight. CP, if you're tuning in, man, I don't know. Maybe you're asleep. Maybe you're knocked out. Maybe you don't want to call in because you're angry about this loss. I get it though. I totally get it. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing though, Shaun. Like for this is like, where does this team go if OG's got to miss extended amount of time? You probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he came back after the All-Star break, just to give him even more rest. And really
I think you definitely got to go to the All-Star break for sure. You got to get him to at least the All-Star break.
So if that's the case, then you got Cat dealing with a finger issue. You're now down to, and he's not. So you lose one good 3-point shooter. Cat's not shooting the 3 ball as he once was. Still waiting for him to get back into rhythm to do that. Now you're down to Bridges and Brunson. What do you look for this offense? Like, do you think this offense takes like a step down, take a step back? Like, how much of a step back? What are your predictions?
I think you got to replace OG with Deuce in that starting lineup. I think you got to let Deuce go out there, and I think you just have to empower Deuce to put him up, kind of like not to the same extent, but especially if Cat's not going to be shooting as much. Like last year when everybody was kind of hurt and they were like, "Yo, Dante, you shoot about 40% from 3, so go shoot 15." Like, go shoot 15 of them and you'll make about 6. So I feel like you got to just tell Deuce to go out there and, hey, just be aggressive and put shots up. Because, if OG is, you don't have OG, Cat's not shooting him as much. So we need the floor spacing. We need the energy that Deuce provides. I think Deuce is finally getting back into the swing of things after, coming back from injury and taking a little while to get back in the he's looking good out there, and so I think you put him in that starting lineup. You don't have much of a drop off defensively. You got a bit of a drop off in size, but I think the two options here are either Deuce or Precious. And as I said earlier, before OG even went down, I was like, I don't like the lineup with Josh Hart, Precious, and Cat for extended periods of time, especially while Cat's not shooting. It's too much non-shooting on the floor. You need the floor to be spaced. You need dynamic people the defense has to react to. Unfortunately, with the way Cat is not even necessarily attempting them lately, it's changing even the way people close out to him, which also gave us a lot of offense. It's like people had to close out really hard to Cat, so a lot of times Cat was able to catch and then going into the basket. And now they're not closing out in that same way, which is taking away some of those driving lanes, which is taking away a lot of the offense that we create in the middle of the floor. So I think if you get Deuce back out there, you get somebody the defense has to really, respect a lot, a very capable catch and shoot guy, and you still have a lot of defensive intensity. Point of attack defender, whatever you want to do. And there might be some nights where there's a size thing, but I think we'll be all right with that.
Yeah, and I think that's just, it's going to be difficult to go back and forth between McBride. I totally understand the idea for McBride, and I'm not really advocating for either one, just because I could see, because I just feel like Tibbs is going to lean Precious just because he likes to have height out there, and I feel like we're gonna I know you don't want to see it, but I think that like just me being like the pragmatic person, like thinking how Tibbs is going to think, I just see Precious going out there. I totally understand the Deuce thing though. Gives you better offense. You can be out there, like you can knock down threes. You don't really like if you're worried about missing 3-point shooting, like he's a guy that can go help you continue to space the floor. I totally understand that. I just think Tibbs is going to be like, Now that we lost OG, who's our most versatile defender out there, we got to go with like the next best thing who can give us some height and wingspan at the 4. And I think that he's going to go with Precious for that reason. And then, as you already said, that offense is going to look much different. It's going to look very much different. And I'm like, the thing that in that case, if he's going to go that direction, is that you hope that Brunson and Cat just take it up another notch offensively. And like, I feel like that's even asking a lot, or you got to ask Bridges to be even more consistent than what he is on the offensive side. And I feel like it's just obviously everyone's got to step up if you're missing somebody. I get that, but it's just going to be, I feel like it's going to be so complicated. I feel like there are going to be nights though where you can have McBride in that starting lineup, and he should be amendable to switching it up and not just sticking it just like sticking to one type of like lineup solution. I feel like he's got to have some, options out there.
And I don't want it to come across as if I don't want Precious to play or whatever. Like, I love Precious. Precious gave us great minutes tonight. He was, great energy. He does a great job defensively. He hits the boards. He, finishes around the basket. I love Precious. But it's just in terms of fit with that lineup and what we're going to get and how teams are going to be able to play us, I'd rather have Deuce out there. So, if we have Precious, I'm sure he'll give good effort. It'll probably even help defensively. But honestly, it's just like between Josh and Cat, you get almost 30 rebounds a night between the two of them alone. So I think we'll be all right rebounding-wise. I don't think we're going to face, Houston is a bit bigger as a team, but we're not going to face a whole lot of teams where, like, the size is going to be overwhelming. You might need, I don't know. I think Deuce makes the most sense. But you're right. I agree. I expect Precious. I expect that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then that's what I'm expecting, man. I'm expecting Precious to be out there. I'm seeing everybody in the chat going. Everyone's going crazy. Read the chat. What am I reading in the chat? I know Luka got traded, man. We discussed this already. We know that it's real. Okay. We already know that it's real. Luka is traded. Yes, we know, for Anthony Davis. We saw it. We broke it down. We just broke it down. I think y'all, I don't know where you all are tuning in, and this is the one thing I don't know about the chat. What part of the show y'all tuning into? I do see the chat. Yes. Mark Barbaro. I see the chat. Yes. Luka for AD. What do you all want? Oh, man. I'm reading the chat. Y'all think I'm either sleeping. Y'all think I'm doing this. Y'all, what do y'all want from me, man? We already discussed Luka going to be out there with Bron and La La Land, and AD going to Dallas. All right. We'll talk more about it later in the show. We got things to cover first. So let's go into our other part of the show. Let's go to key stats of the night. All right. Let's go to the key stats of the night. So let's break this thing down, Shaun. And let's talk about some of these key stats from this game. All right. So coming into tonight, once again, Knicks lost to the Los Angeles Lakers 128-112. And, this one was close, man. It was close for part of it until it got to the fourth quarter. Knicks were still in striking distance. Even in the third, there were moments where, they had where they tied the game and it seemed like they were able to pull away, but just wasn't the case once it got to the fourth. But looking at these stats, obviously the Lakers put up 128 points. Knicks put up 112. Knicks won the rebounding battle 44-37. They also won the assist battle 33-26. And talk about, that key stat where if the Knicks have over 30 assists, they usually win the game. Unfortunately, tonight was not that case. Knicks didn't win the steal battle. They lost 9-7. Didn't win the block battle. Lost 4-3. Won the turnover battle just by a smidge, 14-15. And here's where we get to the numbers that really, impacted the game. The Lakers shot 58% from the field, which is just absurd. They could not miss. The Lakers also shot 48% from downtown. Conversely, the Knicks shot 46% from the field and 36% from downtown. Lakers also were hitting their free throws at a good rate, 83% to the Knicks 74%. And so just based on shooting numbers alone, that's where the Knicks just lost this game. Lakers were just extremely hot tonight, and it just shows by their field goal percentage and their three-point percentage. I mean, almost hitting 60 and then 50. I mean, slash lines like this would just be are just ungodly. And then when you start looking at fast break points. Knicks weren't able to win that battle. They lost 18-9. Knicks dominated the second chance opportunity points when it came to 21-2, and then points in the paint. It was essentially almost even. Knicks barely won that one, 54-52. To me, Shaun, the big things are just the shooting split numbers. You have a team that's shooting 60%, almost 60% from the field, and 48% from downtown. More often than not, especially if they put up a lot of shots, they're going to win. What are your takeaways from this one?
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier in the show, it's going to be tough if you let a team shoot 60% from the field and 50% from three. And, we played the numbers game and we lost it. We gave them the shots. They hit them at a high clip. And, when you spoon feed a team the exact shots they want, if they hit them, you're going to be in trouble. And so sometimes we put ourselves behind the math. We didn't even take 33, and they hit 19. So it was going to be tough for us regardless. And I think that's what most of it comes down to. It's funny hearing that we won the assist. We had 7 more assists than they did, considering how well they shot the ball. But it's a tough night. One of those you got to just not necessarily flush, because you got to figure out that coverage, and you got to figure out how to not. I feel like they hit 6 threes before we even really changed anything. Like, it was just like 3 after 3, and they created them all the same exact way, the same exact action, same exact location, same exact late closeout after drop coverage, and it's just like, oh. And that really was the runway for them to take off on us. So,
yeah, absolutely. Agree with you 100%, Shaun. And that is our key stats of the night, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Guys out there, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I love our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. It's a lot of fun, especially when watching any sporting event, NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL. It doesn't even matter, soccer, golf, whatever you're into. Underdog has got you covered for every single sport. And they give you 2 options. You got your fantasy drafts. So if you want to just draft some people and just like your friends and compete, put some lunch money down. CP, JD, and myself, we always like to, adventure into those battles and see who wins and get some, beer money, lunch money, and just get some bragging rights. It's a lot of fun. And then all you got to do, just choose 6 players, and then you guys get to compete. The other thing you do is go make a ticket, and that's just choosing higher or lower for any statistical category for any player. And the cool thing is about these tickets, you can mix and match from all sports. So it doesn't have to be all NBA or all NFL. You can mix and match from any single sport. And once again, all you got to do is just choose higher or lower on any statistical category. So for tonight, like I chose Josh Hart to get higher than 9.5 rebounds. That he did. He got 12. That's all you got to do. My ticket's not looking great tonight, people. My ticket is not looking great just because, I was expecting Jalen Brunson to do a little bit better. I was expecting, Kevin Durant to do a little bit better. Still waiting on Giannis. Giannis has got to play, but just, not looking too great for the Stratocasters tonight. All right. But doesn't mean that you won't have a great night. So make sure to go support our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. Once again, that is promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and 1 free pick. All right. Let's wrap this stuff up. If anyone wants to call in, this is your chance now. We're getting close to closing out the show. So if you want to get your takes off, this is this moment. This is your moment. Man, this is still bothering me, man. Like, I'm not super, aggravated about this loss. Like, it's going to happen. Like, lose OG. Like, you can just feel the wind going out of the sails. Like, just gone. I don't know if you're a big, video game guy, but it's like the Wind Waker, like Zelda the Wind Waker. It's like, oh, they just use the direction. Oh, stuck it out in the ocean. It's how it felt tonight, man. Just totally how it felt tonight. But it's like, you're going to have nights like this. Hopefully, bounce back against the Rockets, and that's going to be the next test. And just want Cat and all these guys. I'm not necessarily worried about JB. It happens, man. I'm just more so it's Cat and OG at this point. And honestly, I'm even curious to see how Bridges moves forward with OG being out, just because I feel like there's a little bit of competition, not necessarily in a bad way, as I'm saying, but just for touches and just for getting their offense going. And I'm just wondering how Bridges, steps up to the challenge now with OG, who'll most likely miss some time.
And I also want to say it's going to get lost in the translation of, OG being hurt, the Knicks losing the game, Luka getting traded. Shout out to Josh Hart, bro. Josh Hart has just been so great all season. I always say, he's he's the epitome of everything, everywhere, all at once, every night. And tonight, I mean, he was going toe to toe with Braun for the majority of the game. To have a 26-point triple double like that, to bring the energy everywhere he brings it at, whether it's defensively in the passing lanes, whether it's getting out, getting the rebound and getting out on the break, attacking the basket, getting downhill. He just had a really, really, really great game, and he did a lot of the stuff that he's been doing, all season. And it's cool because like in the first quarter, probably like 2 minutes into the game, 2-3 minutes, I was like, oh, Josh Hart double tonight. Like, it's very clear. You can just see what he's doing. You can see what he's on. He had like a great entry pass to OG early. So yeah, shout out to Josh Hart. I think that's something that won't be spoken on as much, but he was phenomenal, and I like to point that out. And a lot of times in games like this, there's some games where it's like I feel disgusting. I do a post game show, and a lot of times, like especially when we lost like 5 out of 7, there's some nights I don't even do a show because I have nothing to say. It's like I don't want to come on here and complain and be upset and be annoyed and complain about how we covered the 3. And so this is one of those games. This is a game where we got outplayed, unfortunately. A couple shots didn't go our way. But I try to think of, just in life for the sake of like getting along and moving through. It's like, what positives can I take from this? What win can I take from this? And the win that I take from this is, Precious stepping up, Deuce stepping up. Josh Hart with the triple double and, having 26 points and really being like, on a night where, and of course you don't want Josh to be the guy you got to go to be a number one option, but it's just like to have Jalen not have it, to have Cat not have it, and for Josh to be like, yo, all right, I got it. To have another guy can be like, hey, if we need a bucket, he was, and he did it, outside of being 1 for 5 from 3. I was going to say 3 levels, but he couldn't hit. But, he got to the basket, he got downhill, and people have to respect that so much that he's able to get to that mid-range and get the mid-range jumper off. So, I think that Josh Hart really showed a lot tonight and I'm proud of him, and I think that's something that I think that's my main takeaway from tonight. It's like we lost the game, but Josh Hart was excellent. He's going to continue to be so, and hopefully that next 26 triple double is going to win.
Very well said, Shaun. Very well said. Gotta respect Josh Hart. I mean, talk about energy and just on a night-to-night basis, man. Even the fact where he always like, yo, I'll have one boat-headed pass. It's like, honestly, bro, like you can have. Doesn't even matter for everything else that you do for this team. Like, go ahead. It doesn't even bother me. So very well said. All right, Shaun. I see people in the chat just want us to keep talking about this trade again, and so like I guess we could wrap up the show here. Just talk about this trade. We've been out here for a little bit, so all right, we'll go back to the trade just to appease everybody once again. Yes, we all know that the Los Angeles Lakers traded Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic. The trade is much deeper than that. Shams was not hacked. He said, yes, the trade is real. Luka is going to the Lakers with Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. The Mavericks are getting Anthony Davis, Max Christie, a 29 LA first rounder. The Jazz, for some reason, got pulled into this somehow, some way. Got Jalen Hood-Schifino, a 2025 Clipper second rounder, and a Mavs 25 second rounder as well. And now we have Tim McMahon over here who... Daniel, please put that one on on the big screen. Oh, thank you. You did. He says that I believe that defense wins championships. Mavs GM Nico Harrison told ESPN regarding his motivation to trade Luka for Anthony Davis. I believe that getting an all defensive center and an all NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future. Holy cow! Shots fired. That's all I got to say about this. They're like, Luka, you're talented. We like the offense that you give us. It ain't enough, Chief. Go somewhere else and go be out of shape somewhere else and not here anymore. You're not serious enough for us. That is what I'm reading that as. Like, I know he's not saying it with his chest, but I'm kind of saying that that's kind of how it feels, man, in like the most politically correct way that a GM could say it to the rest of the league and NBA nation.
And it's funny because everybody's like, why would the Mavs do this? And yes, of course, that's the initial first thought. But, one thing I tweeted, I was like, yo, low key, Kyrie and AD is a very nice combo. Like, that's a very nice combo. And it's like, the Mavericks with Kyrie and Luka, you have two guys who can really get it to it at the end of the day, who can get a bucket. But it does get a little bit redundant, and I feel like, Kyrie, I think AD is the best big Kyrie's ever played with. Like, quite easily.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
for sure.
I think they're going to be a really nice tandem. I think Dallas has a really nice supporting cast, and so although it may sound crazy, this iteration of their team may be better equipped to actually go win something.
No,
You know, like he might not be wrong with that. And you know, if you look over at what's going on at OKC, I think you're going to need some legitimate size. You know, you can't keep running. I mean, it's a little weird. You know, they've gotten like really Derek Lively lately. But maybe they move somebody now. I don't. They're probably not done making moves. You trade Luka, you have like a domino behind it. But I just think that they've got a solid team. They've got a solid roster, and I think that AD and Kyrie is formidable, and he's right defensively. You know, that was one thing I was big on after because I was trying to push an agenda that Jalen was better than Luka, and it was working until they went to the finals last year. But I was like, hey man, like he had Jalen Brunson, he went to the Western Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson left, Luka was still there. They missed the play-in. I was like, I don't know. Like to me, that looks like, you know, because Luka's out there and he's really like he's beyond a cone. Like Luka has no interest in really even like he's attempting. And that's tough to win games with. It's like a lot of the things that, you know, once again, this worked until they went to the finals last year. They had an amazing trade deadline. They did phenomenal. I think Leon did a great job at the deadline last year. Unfortunately, we got hurt a whole lot, so it didn't come across the same way. But the Mavericks did a fantastic job at the deadline. And so, you know, once they made those moves, it was like, okay, they put themselves in position for that. You know, Luka was complaining, you know, saying, but it's just like a lot of the reasons that your team loses come back to you. Like, you know, when you're out there and you're not playing defense, when you're not making this, like you're hurting your team. So, you know, that could be a guy, maybe, you know, clearly, I don't know if there was some animosity, if he requested something, or if they were just like, they were at odds in that building. You know, something was going on in there. Like, clearly, like the Mavs didn't just say, you know what, I think we should maybe move. It said there's a thing that said they came to the Lakers to offer Luka to them. So they clearly wanted him out of there, or maybe Luka part of some scandal coming up. Who knows? Hopefully not. But this is just very, very wild and out of left field. But you know, I believe they can pivot well. And then, like I said earlier, like LeBron and Luka, it seems redundant, but I mean, can you have too many brilliant basketball players? You know, and I think that they're going to be really like on the same wavelength. They're going to be, you know, play off of each other really well. I don't even really know what it looks like yet, but I know that it's going to work out. Like they're going to play off of each other really well. You got two guys who are very, very, very skilled, very smart, process the game extremely well, and you put them together with a common goal. And JJ Redick, who I think is also playing basketball. The coverage we saw on Jalen Brown Cats tonight are easily best I've seen all season. There's nights where both of them have missed or whatever, and the shots just aren't going in. But this was like, okay, the defensive scheme tonight was well set out and well accomplished, and I think that's a credit to JJ Redick. So I think him with Luka and LeBron, it's going to be some like you ever watch their podcast with JJ?
Oh yeah, yep, I saw that one. Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's about to be some next level basketball nerd shit going on over. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
For sure. I mean, look here, we got Daniel put it up with the graphic for both these things. We saw Luka with Reeves, LeBron, Dorian Finney-Smith, and who was it? Who's this?
Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes, thank you. Jackson Hayes out there. And then you got the Mavs with Kyrie, AD. Who else is in that starting rotation now?
Clay, PJ Washington. And who is the fifth?
Look at the Mavs depth chart right now. Who was it?
But yeah, Kyrie, Clay, PJ Washington, AD.
Clay Thompson, PJ, Daniel Gafford. It's going to be Kyrie. And so I guess Daniel Gafford is the one that, you know, gets moved to the bench, but it's going to be Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie, Clay, PJ, and AD. Unless you want Gafford out there and AD playing the 4. That's the other alternative. But,
nah, I don't think they should do that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think PJ's going to be out there with AD. So, you know, it's going to be.
I'd be interested to see them go.
Oh, that's actually what they have right now, according to the Sports Center graphic. They have Daniel Gafford with AD at the 4, and so Gafford at the 5. Wow, interesting.
That's interesting. I would prefer, but you know, I'd just be playing 2K and shit. But 2K, sorry, okay.
Family
But
show, family show.
My apologies. It slipped. But yeah, I would love to see them go Grimes and Clay. Like, you know, Kyrie, Grimes, Clay, PJ, AD, just to have like, you know, a really good defensive wing while also having the 3-point shooting surrounding Kyrie. And you know, the Kyrie and AD pick and roll. I think that'd be pretty strong. But I'm very interested to see how they go about it, for sure.
I'm actually kind of buying more of the Mavs with this lineup than the Lakers, and there's no hate. I feel like the Mavs, and you just said, I think it's like more of like a complete team. I think the Grimes for Clay thing would be the better option, just be for youth. I mean, they even have that in the regular graphic. They have Clay and Grimes out there together. I mean, at some point it may change, but I feel like that, I don't know, that feels like more of a complete team. Just because, like, I don't know, man, Luka, like, I get the whole, like, I agree with you, like, intelligence wise, like, those guys are gonna be able to make plays together like there's no tomorrow. I guess, like, at this point, like, I think it wasn't pretty sure JJ was on that Mavs team because I think he was there with Brunson too, right? JJ did play on the Mavs for a second, so he's played with Luka. He knows all those guys, so it's like this is just gonna be like, hey man, we used to be teammates. Now I'm your coach. I know it worked well for you because I was with you. That's gonna be interesting, man. This trade's gonna be. I'm very much excited to watch how both of this plays out for both teams. It's gonna be so.
I love the NBA, man. I love the NBA.
It's so much fun. But wow,
the gift that keeps on giving.
Because and the thing is, it was going to be, you know, AD had to be the face of the Lakers after LeBron. Now it's Luka. Not a bad prize, man. I don't know. Like that's like, all right, you lose. LeBron's gonna retire at some point. All right, and then you get to go to Luka. That's not a bad trade-off. Wow.
It says here the Mavs had major concerns about moving on, constant conditioning issues, and the looming commitment of another supermax contract. So I guess they figured, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, something in the building. You just see a guy. Well, you all look too championship oriented right now. No, you can't hear like. you skipping practice to sit on the treatment table, but you don't really need skipping practice. You know, whatever it may be. Things like that. They were just like, yeah, I don't know if we're really trying to give you a $300 million.
Hey, you know, that's how the Knicks front office was working too. They, based on like how they were trying to do quick, where it's like, hey, we need you in the playoffs. We didn't see you in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like they were doing the same thing. And we got another tweet from Mark Stein over here. Mark Stein saying Luka Doncic did not request a trade. League sources tell the Stein line. The Mavericks did this on their own accord, getting back Anthony Davis, but only one future first-round pick from the Lakers in 2029 for a 25-year-old regarded as a future MVP. And then he says more from me. And then you did read Tim McMahon's thing on Luka's conditioning. So wow, look, man. You know, that's always been the conversation for Luka too. Has been his conditioning. Can he like get in the right shape and take, you know, for what people want to see, the game seriously enough where you're putting them in position to win. And I think when you watched him in the NBA Finals last year and how they were just getting cooked by the Celtics, you didn't really see him like he played poorly, man. Like there's no way to like sugarcoat. He stunk it up, man. Him and Kyrie did stink it up, and so. How can you look at that guy and say we're going to invest in you for more years when you're not even conditioned and stuff of that nature? Like, and I get it, like he's an MVP type caliber candidate, and it's like, don't you just want to, you know, keep a talent like that because it's so hard to find somebody like that? I mean, it was already the first mistake of the Kings not drafting him. Then it was the mistake of the Hawks trading him, right? And now it's just so weird how it all works out, man. And I'm so curious to see how his career just unfolds because sometimes you think like, hey, guy needs a wake-up call, change of scenery. And so playing with LeBron, like LeBron doesn't take no ish from nobody. You know what I mean? Like you playing with LeBron, he's going to be like, yo, I need you to play defense. I need you to step up. I need you to play every single night. So this could be the thing to get Luka on track because there's no way Luka could be talking back to Bron. Bron's going to be like, look, man, I got rings. I got 4 of them. What do you got? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've been here.
And this is a completely uninformed opinion. I don't know Luka at all. I feel like Luka is just a petty guy, you know? Like, so I feel like this is really going to spark a fire in him. Like, I remember I gained a lot of respect for Luka. It was the Mavs Suns series a couple years ago, and Jalen was still on the Mavs, and the Suns went up 3-2. They were talking a lot of trash, and Luka walked back into the tunnel after they lost the game 5, and he was like, "It's easy to talk when you're up, like everybody can talk when they're up, but let's see that when you're down." And then they came out and they won the next 2 games, and that was when they killed him in that game 7. And it was like, okay, like this guy is like, he's tough, like he's like that. He has that in him, and so I think that now he's gonna feel a way about the Mavs deciding, we're gonna move on. Like I don't think Luka ever thought that was the thing that was gonna happen. I think if Luka felt like he was gonna leave Dallas, he felt like he didn't want to be. I don't think he ever thought that Dallas would decide we're gonna move on from Luka Doncic. So I think that now it's like, oh, you guys are gonna move. He wants to add them to that list, just like you said. Oh, it was passing on him, and the Hawks traded him. He wants it to look crazy that, I can't believe the Mavs gave Doncic. Like, if this doesn't inspire you, I don't know what does. But I think we're gonna see. I just really, above all else, I need a 7-game series between the Lakers and the Mavericks. I would love for that to be round 1 of the playoffs. I need it somehow, whatever the seeding is, on the West Coast all year. I need Lakers Mavericks, and honestly, like I think I got Mavericks.
Now, I mean, I would love to see that happen. Can you imagine? That happens? I mean, wow. If we got that this season, storylines galore, man. Good God.
Oh my goodness.
This league. Oh my God. Please let it happen. Please let it happen. All right, man. Shaun, we've been on here for a minute. We got another caller coming in here, so let's get the Knicks Fix as the closer and wrap this show up. We've been on here for a minute. The Knicks Fix. Unmute your mic, my man. What's going on, bro?
Alex, Shaun, what's going on tonight, guys?
We're talking Knicks, man. We're breaking things down, and then we're breaking down this crazy, wild trade that just decided to happen after the Lakers won. How are you feeling?
Dude, I was at the game tonight with my boy. We got tickets last minute. We're in like section 200s. We're looking at the game. We're thinking like, yo, JB's ice cold. Carl Anthony looks ice cold as well. OG goes down. We're like, oh my God, this is it. And then we're screaming our heads off. You know me, Alex. I'm screaming my head off like, yo, Tibbs not adjusting. He played Shamit. He didn't play Payne. All of this stuff. We come out of there. We're pissed off. Get inside the LIRR. My boy is like, yo, look at this. I'm like, that can't be real, man. That's a burner account. That's no way that trade is real. Bro, we look up and I'm like, yo, how does this keep happening, bro? Every decade, the Lakers get a generational talent. How, bro? Yo, think about this. Alex, think about this. We just traded 5 picks for McHale. We could have had Luka. It's just insane. I mean, do I want Luka? Nah, he's not out of shape, or whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is, yo, I'm fed up. Not only did we lose tonight, we lost OG. Sound the alarm, because who's going to guard Tatum on Friday night? And then on top of that, man, I'm just losing my mind, bro.
We lost the Celtics.
Yo, OG is out against the Rockets, and now he's gonna be out. They're probably gonna hold him out until the All-Star break. I'm at the game. I'm like, yo, Tibbs, nothing new, right? Every night I call in the same thing. Tibbs, he don't adjust. On the LIRR, boom, they get Luka. I'm like, I'm out, bro. I'm out. Yo, have a good night, fellas.
That's the Knicks Fix. Appreciate you for calling in, man. Frustrated, bro. Absolutely frustrated. And look, I get it. After watching a game like this, you want to see this team win. You have LeBron coming back in town. And we know the history of LeBron. He's been flipping water bottles, disrespecting our court. We don't want it, man. We don't like seeing that nonsense. But hey, guess what, LeBron? Don't forget, Super Mario blocked your butt. All right, don't worry. That's still in the books. We remember that one. We got that circulating around Twitter today. Don't worry about that. But hey, the rich keep getting richer, man. That is one thing that the Knicks Fix is right on. How the Lakers get another generational talent is beyond me. I don't want to hear nothing about no frozen envelope for the New York Knicks. Just get that out of my face. The Lakers continue to get whatever they want. It is just absurd. My Lord. But yo, Shaun, appreciate you for coming through tonight, my man, and co-hosting with me. Appreciate you breaking things down. Look, man, you asked me, like, how long does it usually go? Sometimes losses, man, these shows can be pretty quick, but now we got some crazy NBA news. We just had to break that down, too, since we had everybody in here, had all of Knicks Nation and then some. So just had to, oh, here we go. Hold on. Daniel decided to bring up this other tweet. He said, was that LeBron talking about missing 80 tonight defensively? Get out of here, man. How do you even do that? Stop. You know, the fact that LeBron could do this with a straight face, man, when you know he has to sign off on these deals is just absurd. God bless you, man. That is politics to the umph degree. Whatever it may be, man. Whatever it may be. God bless. But yo, let me get some of these super chats out of the way. Appreciate you for all tuning in. Shout out to Tizzy 73, who's a franchise channel member, for the $5 super chat. They said they lied about Julius, so OG very well could be done. They just got to be straight up and stop lying. Hey, man. Look, I know they said the same thing about Julius. They gave us a lot of high hope. But, you know, they always said that Julius didn't want to go through surgery, that he was going to try his best to get back, and that he was progressing well. And then at the end of the day, he didn't do it. But I guess if you want to say that they were talking about progressing well, that's all subjective, man. That's how doctors and athletes take that stuff. So I'm like, at the end of the day, if you're not there, if you're not feeling the pain, if you're not working with that person, it's hard to read. But I totally understand the sentiment of not trusting Knicks PR. Totally understand that. We got Fugazi with the $5 super chat. Shout out to you. Said Luka traded to the Lakers. Yeah, man. We know. Luka traded to the Lakers. Appreciate you for the $5 super chat. Fugazi. We got Tizzy 73 with another $5 super chat saying Mavs GM getting fired by noon tomorrow. Oh my God. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Sometimes I don't know. This trade is going to be interesting. I really can't wait for it to all play out. Shout out to Chuck D. Throw a hashtag PE in the chat. Always appreciate you, Chuck, for tapping. He gave us a $20 super chat. Said, after getting off stage at Rose Bowl in front of 40,000 with PE and jelly roll for fire relief, I'm going to say MSG stage was too big for Knicks. A legend vet like LeBron James is never nervous. The king got us today. We learn and grow. That's a fact, Chuck. That's a fact. Throw fives in the chat for that one. Hey, man, you're not going to win every single one. And as Tibbs says, if you don't win, you learn, man. And you got to learn from this one. You got to be ice cold in these moments. And Lakers were just ice cold tonight. And hey, we'll bounce back and we'll beat them on their home court. That's the goal. That's the goal. Go out to LA, beat them on their own home court. But shout out to everybody for tuning in once again. Appreciate you, all of Knicks Nation, and then some for tapping in. Shout out to all the franchise channel members and the mods for always staying locked in with us. We always appreciate your support. Without you guys, you know, we're not here for doing what we do. And so truly appreciate all of you for being here on the regular. I see a lot of you. I see a lot of you. Let me shout out a few franchise channel members. We got Bees Noriega in here. We got Janal Toure. We got Tizzy, as I said. We got JJ. I saw JJ in here. I saw Junior Karoma in here. I saw John Talento. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate you. We got Nostalgic Nick. Minutes Police. Shout out to you. We got Respect Shaq. Shout out to you. Who else we got in here rocking with us today? Who else do we got in here rocking with us today? KG74 is always in here. Shout out to you, my guy. Yeah, we got the franchise channel members. Appreciate all you guys for tapping in as always. As I said. And remember to support our sponsors, all right? Manscaped. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to 20% off and free shipping. Also support our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick, all right? And look, if you can't catch us live on YouTube, you can always catch us on any audio listening platform. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it, we are there. So make sure to go subscribe and download the podcast so that way, whether you're on the road, wherever you may be, hey, maybe you're taking care of kids, you can't watch YouTube, you know, just throw on a podcast, man. Throw on the speakers and you can catch us and hear the breakdown as always. All right. All right, everybody. I hate Shaun with me. Appreciate you, my guy, as always. Thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate you all once again. All right, here. We out.
Adios.